What is going on, guys? Sorry I am late. I was trying to get some quick dinner in, but I'm just going to get it with you guys here tonight, so if you'll excuse me. We have quite a bit to get through today. We are talking about what is going on with Iran. So, actually, let me see here. While I have this on my mind. Okay. Let's see. Well, that's fine. I'll leave that be for right now. Okay. So, what we are talking about tonight is the very real possibility of World War III. Because I'm sure all of you have found out by now that we have attacked Iran. That the Trump administration has ordered strikes on Iran because he cannot stop circle jerking his boyfriend, Bibi, to go and actually pursue peace. No, he's got to pursue war. All of them, all of the rich assholes, the elites, they've always got to pursue war. Because war is what makes them money. And they were happy to sacrifice American lives to do it. So we have quite a bit to take a look at. And I want to start off with a couple of clips from Nate over on Valhalla VFT. So not only are we going to take a look at this video, but we're also going to take a look at his newest video. Watch just a little bit of it. But we're also going to take a look into the War Powers Resolution Act. Or, I'm sorry, the War Powers Act of, 1973, right? Yeah, 1973. Okay, that's what I thought. But this is where we're going to start. Listen to this.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Wow, but I'm sure.
Really interesting. Okay, so who remembers this?
We are finally putting America first. Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests. We are finally...
Really? Really, Trump? Really? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We are putting America first by going to war with Iran. Because we gained something from that, right? We gained something from that, right? Sure. Kenobi, what's up, man? Who also remembers this?
But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together, we're going to unlock a...
You know, there's one word that they never use. That's what's up, bro. There's one word that they never use when it comes to describing America. And it's a republic. They never use that word. They always use a democracy. We have not ever been a democracy. We are not a democracy. We use democratic processes to elect our leaders. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Then this is how you know, this is absolutely how you know that whoever is using this terminology is controlled by whoever puppet master it is. But we already know that it's Israel. We already know that. We already know that. But anyways, this was one of his campaign promises, that there would be no more forever wars. There would be no more new wars. And yet, just over a year of his first presidency, he's already invaded Venezuela. He's already striked Iran, not twice now, or not once but twice now. And then he's also threatened a number, of other countries, Greenland, Mexico. And now there's a very real potential of him getting us involved in World War III. A very real potential. Because if we go to war with Iran and Russia and China decide to change their minds, that's going to be a massive problem for us. But let's see here.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
Really? Are you sure about that?
You literally started the war. Pete, there is no we didn't start the war. You literally started the war.
Literally, because was Iran actually threatening us? Were they actually going to do something against us? Let's find out.
Yeah, Caitlin, just like most of the administration's explanations for why now, why was this operation against Iran launched now, this briefing happened in private, but we're told that Pentagon briefers did make a stark acknowledgement, and that was that no, there was no indication that Iran was preparing to preemptively strike U.S. bases in the region in anticipation of some sort of an attack from American and Israeli forces. And that's something that senior administration officials had said on Saturday that they believed was true, and that was something that contributed to the timing of this operation. So raising more questions still, as the president we haven't heard from him about his reasoning, his justification, and his plan going forward as this military operation continues.
Isn't that interesting? So there were no hostilities against us. However, the whole thing of us going over there was that, oh my God, they have weapons of mass destruction. Oh my God, they hate Americans. They're chanting death to America. Oh my God, we got to go over there and fix that. When in reality, let's figure out what the actual problems are. And I'm trying to find it here. Where is it? Here we go. Isn't this interesting?
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
If not.
So for 30 years, he's been saying that Iran is weeks away from having nuclear weapons. Yet, have we seen a single one? No. And the first time we struck Iran, they didn't even have nuclear weapons. So why is it that we are attacking them now? Because how does this make any sense? An elementary school filled with little girls was striked, and I believe around 100. I believe the death toll is around 100. How is this? How is this moral? Explain this to me. How is this a military target? It's not. It is not. However, what we're going to do is we're going to send Americans into fight just like we did the past 3 fucking times. Or what is it? The past 2 times, right? With Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and then, well, I mean, I guess you could say Enduring Freedom, but so you can say the past, but no, the past 2 times with Saddam Hussein, and then also the War on Terror, right, with Iraq and Afghanistan. that was completely planned, mind you. Our government knew what was going on. The Israeli government knew what was going on, and they let it happen. They let 3,000 people die to justify going over into the Middle East. That's what happened. That's absolutely what happened. I don't give a fuck what they tell you. I don't give a fuck what they tell me. I've done the research. I know what I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of people that still remember the dancing Israelis, but they're considered crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, conspiracy theorists for daring to point that very, very glaring bit of information out. So that's crazy, right? That's crazy. I don't remember, elementary schools being, targets filled with innocent children. But it gets worse. Watch this.
Plane was hit by a ballistic missile.
Missile threat warning. A target shelter immediately. Shelter in place.
Oh wait, hang on. No, that's not Iran. I thought that was Iran. Might have been somewhere. Oh, I think this was it.
And here's some footage from that. Yikes.
Huh.
And also what it's looking like in classic Our Greatest Ally form, a girls' elementary school in the city of Manal.
Yeah, so multiple targets are hit, but one of the most glaring is the elementary school with innocent children. So that's awesome. Let's see, naval base. I think this is in Israel too. Could have been, but I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot of shit that's going on right now. But let's see here. Right. Pretty much everyone does not want this. Right? Pretty much everyone does not want this. You know who does want this?
All suspects.
I will tell you that everyone else is watching. If the United States backs off of this and cuts some sort of unbelievably weak deal, the consequences will not just be for the Middle East, where Israel will be forced to ramp up its military even more and probably go and attack Iran itself.
And he's saying it like, oh, the horror. If the Goyim don't fight for us, we're going to have to fight for ourselves.
Yes, remember the president of peace, no more wars promised, the prince of peace, the guy who cried about not winning a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So, if Iran, if we don't go and fight Iran's wars, they're going to fight them themselves, which is something they should be doing anyways. But they would love nothing more than the good little Goyim to go and fight their wars for them. Isn't that interesting? And it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Because now, let's see.
I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
A few moments later.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Let's see. There was another thing that he said at the end of that. Ah, here it is.
Military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. And many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. Have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the
true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others.
It would be fine and good if if there were American citizens who were attacked overseas because of Iran. That would be one thing. But when we preemptively strike a nation that has nothing to do with us, at that point, that becomes a massive problem. And that gets us involved in a hell of a lot bigger of a mess than what we... This wouldn't be an issue if we cut all ties with the fucking country overseas.
The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to increase a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist America or death to Israel or both. They are the world's #1.
You see how it's not just America, it's also Israel.
America or death to Israel. Or
right? Right? That's very telling. Or death to Israel. Because that's what it's all about. Is what does this tiny country overseas want? What do they want?
Or both. They are the Iranian military, police who yearn for freedom, to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is...
Yeah, because being heroic, being brave is going and dying for a war that you never asked for.
With you.
Right.
I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise.
No, you did.
The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to likely be more.
I'm trying to find this clip. Right here. But for
patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more.
Yeah. Yep. Wait, this is... Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. Those are BDUs. Hang on, let's go back over to what Nate is going to say. But we already have troops that have lost their lives already. I've seen... Here, let me go to my profile here. Oh. Let me go to my posts. Right here. Yep. Oh, wait, hang on. All right, hold. Are those ACUs or are those ABUs? Because those look sage green. I'm confused. Anyways, let's get back to this.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and unfortunately we have very, very sad news today, as CENTCOM has just announced that we have the first official U.S. service member casualties of the Epstein War. 3 U.S. soldiers are confirmed dead, 5 more are wounded in critical condition, and it sounds like about a dozen more have small wounds from things like shrapnel and stuff like that. So yes, on day 1, we already have dozens of U.S. casualties. Yay, this is exactly what everybody voted for. But Trump has already announced that he's willing to sacrifice as many Americans for our greatest ally as it takes. Cool. So that's what we're going to talk about in the video today. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Isn't it weird how one thing after the other just so happens to occur when all of the, well, not all of the, but when some of the most damning things that are coming out about the e-files. Isn't that interesting how all of these things are happening? There must be some really, really bad shit on top of the bad shit that we've already seen in the e-files. Okay? Because earlier this year, he was promising to end the Russia-Ukraine war. It's already been over a year now. He's also promised that he was going to make this economy better. Well, guess what? We have data centers that are destroying this country, both economically and environmentally. We also have the H-1B visas, H-2B visas that are here to stay, on top of all of the illegals. We also have 600,000 Chinese spies, potentially, who are being let in here onto our college campuses. We have now a new conflict, a new potential World War III scenario because of Bibi. Because we want to please Bibi. It's not good enough to do it under the table now. No. All of this is for the greater Israel project. That's what this is for. That's what this is. Because Israel has been trying to get rid of Iran for 30 fucking years now. For 30 years. Okay? And they're so close. They're this close. They're so close. And almost every single president after Kennedy has been compromised because of this fucking nation, because of all of these intelligence agencies that they've been they've been the servants of this country. This is the issue. And they're going to send they're happy to send Americans over there to die for something they never wanted to begin with.
And guys, we'll be going back live again tonight at 5 p.m. because there's so much to talk about following these massive retaliatory strikes by Iran that we don't have time in just this video. So come join us then. Let's just jump into it and talk about the story. We're also going to take a little trip down memory lane and just see where we came from and how we got here, because what a bizarre transition for Donald Trump, huh? The president of peace, the president of no new wars, has just broken the record. Yes. He broke his own record for most countries bombed in a year.
Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Palestine, Somalia, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. Damn, isn't that awesome?
Any U.S. president. Wow, that board of peace is really rocking right now, huh? And we're also going to take a look at the retaliatory strikes and just everything that's happening. A lot of clips because it's not looking good. Also, multiple countries have now announced that they are also entering the war. Yay!
Oh, fuck, dude. Oh. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how this is going to escalate, but if more and more countries are going to get involved, this is definitely going to throw us into World War III. And America is going to be the Axis powers instead of the Allied powers.
With U.S. service members dead and multiple countries entering the war, we've pretty much...
You know, we should put a year for every dead service member that comes back to us. There should be a year for a year in prison for these politicians, these bureaucrats who are more than happy to send our service members overseas to die for a war that they never wanted. There needs to be a year for every single one of them. I'm talking Trump, J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, all of them. Every single fucking one of them who wanted this.
confirmed that this is going to be a real war now. So let's take a look at the reporting on this first. So yes, as of 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time today, 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action and 5 are seriously wounded per CENTCOM. So this story is still developing. It says 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action during combat operations against Iran. U.S. Central Command officials announced Sunday 5 more have been listed as seriously wounded. Several other troops sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions are in the process of being returned to duty, according to the CENTCOM release. A barrage of Iranian retaliatory strikes were launched at U.S. military installations across the Middle East on Saturday on the heels of a U.S. and Israeli air, land, and sea bombardment across the Islamic Republic, a campaign dubbed Operation Epic Fury. Isn't that funny? Capital E, capital F, you know, Operation Epstein Files. Yeah. So yes, we now have multiple
It's a good one.
dead service members on day 1. So we can only imagine where this is going to go from here.
Awesome. And all of this has been done unconstitutionally. Unconstitutional, because the president needs approval from Congress. To attack another nation. Okay? Or I guess, excuse me, get into a war with another nation. They need approval from Congress. And that's from the War Powers Resolution of 1973. It says here in the summary, before the president commits U.S. troops into hostilities abroad, the War Powers Resolution directs that Congress first be consulted in every possible instance, both offensively and defensively. The War Powers Resolution further mandates that the president report to Congress within 48 hours of deploying U.S. forces. Guys, notice that we've had ships over in the Middle East for quite some time now, and they said that they abide by this, that they complied with this this War Powers Resolution. But here's something that's very interesting. Let me see. Here we go.
Well, we did. We notified Congress. I mean, we notified the Gang of Eight. We notified congressional leadership. There's no law that requires us to do that. The law says we have to notify them 48 hours after beginning hostilities. We've done that. I think the notification.
No, that's not what it says. That's not what it says. Within 48 hours of deploying U.S. forces. Within 48 hours of deploying forces. Not beginning hostilities. Of deploying forces. Okay? So what does that mean? If we're going to deploy forces there, okay, we got to let people know. The president needs to let Congress know 48 hours as soon as they are deploying forces. Okay. That doesn't mean beginning hostility. That's not what that means. It does not say engaging with foreign forces. That's not what it says. Deploying forces. Okay? Not forward deploying, because forward deploying is around the same thing. Deploying forces. Okay? And certainly not engaging hostilities. If Congress has not declared war or statutorily authorized the action, which obviously they wouldn't because none of us wanted this. So.
Went today, but we did notify members of Congress in advance, but we can't notify 535 members of Congress. Well, the Congress can vote on whatever they want, but there's no law that requires us to do that. And I want to say,
oh, hang on.
Because I see people on TV, look, that's fine. If they want to take a war powers vote, they can do that. They've done that. They've done that a bunch of times. But people keep saying that there's no law that requires the president to have done anything with regards to this. To begin with, no presidential administration has ever accepted the War Powers Act as constitutional. Not Republican presidents, not Democratic presidents.
Well, that is actually pretty interesting because I saw this No formal declaration of war has been passed since 1942, since World War II. Yet presidents have engaged in numerous military actions. That's true. But I find that to be very, very interesting. How there's no this moron says that there's no law that the president has to notify Congress when deploying troops into hostilities. There is. It's called the War Powers Resolution Act. Dumb fuck.
That said, we have followed the notification at 48 hours, and we're here today. I've done more Gang of Eight briefings than I got in the 4 years that Biden was president, and I was a member of the Gang of Eight.
And the deflections. Again with the deflections. We did what we were supposed to, but what did Biden do? It's like we are run not just by PD files. Okay? Not just that. We're run by children. Because it's a constant shift of blame on the opposition. I'm so tired of this game. None of us wanted this. None of us did. And as a veteran, this sickens me and infuriates me that I'm watching my brothers and sisters die for a war they never asked for. This pisses me off. We never wanted this. We wanted peace. That's all we wanted. We wanted peace and to live a good life, to be left the fuck alone. But they cannot help themselves. Why? Because they want to flatten the entirety of the land so that they can build their resorts, their whatever the fuck they planted, their banks and resorts. That's what the fuck that they want to do. Because there's already a plan in motion for that. I don't have the videos here, but there's already a plan in motion for that. Ian Carroll talks about it all the time. But that's what they really want. That's what they really want. They want to start war with these surrounding countries, remove them from their lands, and then build what they want on top of the lands and extort people even further. And we've got morons like this who get paid out. I don't know if he's paid out. I'm sure he is if he's fine with doing this shit. If he's fine about lying to people, to the American people, to Congress. And he even said it. We can't notify.
I've done more Gang of Eight briefings. That said, we have followed the notice of the president to have done anything with regards to this. And I want to say something because I see people on TV. Look, that's fine if 535 members of Congress in advance, but we can't notify 535 members of Congress.
Oh, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Why can't you? Why can't you? You have you can find a criminal in less than 12 hours. Why can you not find or why can you not find the competency within you to notify all members of Congress? It takes one email to notify everyone at the same time. Again, not engaging in hostilities. Deployment of U.S. forces. Okay? Very, very, very key. Deployment of U.S. forces.
Here, and why are we shocked? We decided to kill the Ayatollah, which is essentially the Islamic Shia Pope. And what did we think? That Iran was just going to lay down and not do anything about it? It makes you wonder who's making the decisions here. Because as we go back in past and take a look at some of these clips, it's very, very confusing how we got to where we are.
Give it. We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it? And we're not fixing our highways, our tunnels, our bridges, our hospitals even, our schools even. It's crazy.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
Yeah, whoa, what happened? I'm confused. That's everything that we thought we were going to get, because that's what he campaigned on, and there's more.
Will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit.
Oh, that's right. The nuclear bunkers that were completely destroyed, completely obliterated. And you said CNN and MSNBC were just a bunch of liars. How turned out you're the f***ing liar. Oh, that's right. What was that in 2013? Be prepared. Yep. There's a small chance our horrendous leadership could unknowingly lead us into WW3. Huh. Also, let's look at all the other grifters in the administration. Oh, what's this in 2024 before the election?
Yeah, so we were constantly told that Iran is such a major problem. But guess what? Guess what? Our president let Ahmad al-Shara, who was a very, very prominent leader in Al-Qaeda, he let this motherfucker in the White House. Gave him gifts. He was playing basketball with our military leaders. So explain to me, if Islam extremists are the problem, right, and they're so dangerous, let's just think for a second. Why is it that we are letting men like this into our White House? Why? Why? How does it make sense?
Stephen Miller saying, Kamala will send your sons to war. What was this? Oh, Kamala to Michigan. Vote for me and we'll draft your kids and send them to war in the Middle East. Huh. Ah, yes, Tulsi Gabbard, who I used to be a big fan of,
I used to be a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard too, until I realized that she, along with Trump, along with J.D. Vance, Mike Pence, all of them have taken AIPAC money. They've sold us all out. Or maybe, just maybe, they were sellouts from the start. Which could have been. And it really infuriates me, because not only is she a veteran, but so is J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a veteran too. But they're completely fine with selling out the American people. This is why I say, and people have made me out to be a traitor, the most vile of fucking people you could ever imagine. People all over, mainly on X, because X is fucking brutal. But it's like if you think for yourself, right, and you use your critical thinking skills, and you realize that, hey, it doesn't matter what party that we subscribe to, both are controlled by the same people, the same masters. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how the Republicans are willing to give Bibi whatever he wants, and that the Democrats are acting the way that they are, but we're supposed to be hating each other because my party? No. This is why I always say as well, we need a new party. We need to abandon the Republicans and the Democrats, okay? We need to abandon both parties, because they do not serve the people. They do not care about the people. You want to know who does care about you? And as far as I know, that's going to be Thomas Massey, who is a Republican. That's going to be Ro Khanna, who is a Democrat. And I would even go so far as to say Brandon Herrera, because I know I'm very confident that he's going to win the seat in the 23rd district of Texas. I hope he does. I hope he does. And he puts that rat away by the name of Tony Gonzalez. Little fucking rat. Anyways, Yes, so these parties, they don't care about you. They never have, and they never will. You wanna know why? Because you're not in the club. And what club is that? The touching little kids club. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't it's hard for us to wrap our heads around this because it's that bad. But what's happening, or what has happened in America and quite a few different places around the globe, but what's happened in the past, 40, 30 years, 50 years even, is the world's largest um, sex trafficking ring of children that our species has ever seen. And you want to know, you want to know who is in all of it? Everyone that's everyone that's in the e-files. Okay, guys. Yes, Trump, he's in on it. Of course, he's in on it. We know that. Actually, matter of fact, let me go to. Oops. Let me go to, because there's something that I saw here on X not too long ago. Oh, hang on. Ah, here we go. Right here.
Accused Pam Bondi of lying under oath.
Put up
Which she
another
did.
document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center.
Donald, I know for a fact that you know exactly who I am.
He drove Donald Trump around in a limo.
And you bragged while you were on your cell phone.
He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone.
To somebody named Jeffrey. About having rape.
Oh, trying to not get in trouble with YouTube. But yeah, so this is the guy, Dan Ferry, who is supposedly the limo driver, and he's coming out about his experiences with the e-files. Okay, so with all of this stuff that's coming out, it's no wonder why they would be trying to distract us again, yet again. Okay. Because that's all it ever is. It's one distraction after another to take away from the biggest ring of child, that we have ever known. And they're willing to sacrifice American lives to do it.
And such an utter disappointment. Basically, her entire political shtick has been anti-war, and she is utterly silent right now, isn't she? But here's her in the past.
Here is the choice that we have. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Dick Cheney, and it's a vote for war, more war, likely World War III and nuclear war. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
Oh, really? That aged well.
And who has demonstrated already that he has the courage and strength to stand up and fight for peace.
Where you at, Tulsi? You going to come out and apologize to the American people for that? I think you should.
How about apologize to the 3 veterans who are now, or the 3 service members who are now dead, and the 5 who are seriously wounded? How about they go and apologize to those families? But they won't do that. They won't do that.
Because again, you are real silent. And again, Trump, a vote for peace? What was this again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
This is all aging like real hot sour milk, isn't it? Now let's take a look at what all the Zionists are saying as they're cheering this on. Yay!
Of course, Mark Levine.
Dead soldiers, woo!
They believe today that they must destroy the West.
most prominently the United States.
No, Mark Levine, that's you when someone calls you out for your bullshit.
States of America, those nuclear ICBMs aren't aimed for Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. They're aimed for New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and everywhere in between and around the United States of America.
Oh, really? Well, that's pretty interesting, given the fact that we just saw, where is it? Did I exit out of it? I think I might have exited out of it. Yeah, well, given the fact that there supposedly wasn't any hostilities towards us from Iran, from Iran.
Ah, yes, Mark, those nuclear ICBMs that can reach the United States that Iran has. Yeah, they're not aimed at Tel Aviv, they're aimed at the American people. Okay, this is what Fox News boomers are actually ingesting for their media. Wow. Now, what are some other fantastic takes as U.S. service members are dying in the Middle East? Oh, look at that. Scary Larry Jigsaw Loomer.
Oh, God, dude. Oh, bro, dude, what a fucking take is this? If World War III is necessary for Israel to survive, so be it. Israel first is America. How? You don't even put it first in the sentence, bro. See, people who are still supporting MAGA, it shouldn't be MAGA. It should be MIGA. For obvious reasons.
2 days ago said, if World War III.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me how someone who wears a face, because her face is not a face. It's just it's like a lizard person who has put a face of someone who has done way too much plastic surgery to herself. Would say this. That's what this is like. Because they're not going to suffer any consequences from us going to war with Iran. They're not going to suffer the consequences. No, it's the mothers and fathers who get notified that their son, that their daughter died in combat. That's who suffers from this. And those who come back haunted every single night. That's who suffers from this. And all of this could have been avoided had we actually had people in office who fucking cared about this country and about her people. All this, but no. We have to adhere to a parasitic country across the pond who cannot help themselves but to try and control the entire world. Because they already control several different countries. We are one of them.
Is necessary for Israel to survive, so be it. Israel first is America first. Oh, look, Lindsey Graham. As I watch and monitor this historic operation, I'm in awe of President Trump's determination to be a man of peace.
Yeah, a man of peace as we... Oh, I don't know. Where is it? Yes, a man of peace as we authorize the bombing of an elementary school. Right.
But at the end of the day, evil's worst nightmare. Well done, Mr. President. And what else? Well, we can't not get Ben Shapiro's take. Yes, I'm sure this is going to be absolutely riveting. We watched this live last night.
Well, that was the President of the United States a little bit earlier today. Obviously, I just came back from Shabbat, from Sabbath, to the news of what...
No one fucking cares, bro.
What is going on. And let's just say this. President Trump is the most courageous commander-in-chief in modern American history.
When you see this moron right here, when you see this idiot praise anyone, you know that someone that he is praising is a piece of shit just like him. Fuck, man, we were duped. Man, we were duped back in 2015, man. The mask started to come off, right, in Trump's first term with him calling to violate the Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment through the red flag laws. Man, the mask really started to come off, but here in the second term, we know that no one is trustworthy. Again, except for a few. This guy, this is Ben Shapiro. In 2015, he became very famous in 2015 for promoting Trump. Not just him, but it was Ben Shapiro, Milo Yiannopoulos, Candace Owens, Steven Crowder. All of those guys, pretty much got their start in 2015 when we were all making fun of the left, right? Myself included, and how we were waking up from being controlled mind-wise by the left. However, in Trump's first term, the mask started to slip because it wasn't about it. Well, actually, no. Back then, it was about controlled opposition. Okay. The Democrats are bad. We gotta get the Democrats out. And the Republicans are bad. We gotta get the Republicans out. Neither presidential was good. You're right. Right. None of them were good. None of them have been good for decades, bro. The last best, the last best president that we had in recent history is Kennedy. That's it, bro. Every president after that has been shit. George Sr. supposedly is in the E-Files doing some really bad things to little boys. Okay. Bill Clinton. We already know he's in there too. George Jr. supposedly in there as well. And then you also have Reagan, who signed the no-fault divorce, right, into law. And then what was it also him who started the war on drugs? I think it was him too, right? But you have a number of presidents who have been absolute ass. And it's only getting worse, right? The more the more we're able to see because of the technology that we use, the worse it gets.
There is no question about this. What he just did is the bravest move by a president of the United States of my lifetime, bar none, without a doubt.
Yeah, because it benefits you because you don't like America. Oh, especially this term. You are right, bro. Also, Ben Shapiro said himself that he thinks retirement. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull it up for you. Let's see. Where's the video at?
Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But put all of that aside.
So we shouldn't retire at all. No, us Americans, no. We shouldn't retire. We shouldn't take care of our elderly. We should let them work until they're dead. Unless they have a condition. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, this is definitely someone that sounds like they love America, right? Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay, yeah. How about this? I've got a little suggestion for all of these fucking cucks that are cheering on another protracted war in the Middle East. How about this? Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Laura Loomer, and all the other Zion.
Yeah, that's That is what she looks like. That is what she looks like.
How about you do what we did, strap on a pair of fucking boots, go enlist, and how about you go fight? Because there's absolutely nothing worse than someone who's never seen war combat and never served, who's a bloodthirsty fucking neocon begging to send your sons and daughters to go die in another forever war in the Middle East. But the
Exactly. That's what I say all the fucking time. Okay? That's what I say all the time. I know what this shit is like because I've seen it. I've seen it. Nate has seen it. A lot of other people have seen it. We don't want it. We don't want any part of it. But they do because they benefit. Also, because they get paid out as well. That's why they're saying what they're saying.
The problem for Ben Shapiro is that he's 5'2", and so he probably would have to get a height waiver that he probably wouldn't even be able to get. So,
well, I mean, let's give him let's give him a stool along with along a little foldable stool, or we can give him some foot levelers. Give him a few more inches.
So yes, that's the first part, but there is also another part that we're all very well aware of, and that is, of course, yes, Operation Epstein Files, the major distraction from the pedo ring that the administration has been trying to cover up for 11 months. Well, you got your big distraction now, although it's not fooling anybody. And guys, even Wikipedia is tracking this. As you see here, yes, on Wikipedia, this is being named the Epstein War of 2026.
This is why I love Wiki. I will never agree with someone who says that Wikipedia is not a reliable source. I will never agree with someone because look, bro. Look. This is why I love Wikipedia, man. They call it out for what it is. And when you know that when you figure out what WikiLeaks is, bro, the trust for Wikipedia goes up tremendously.
Sick.
Which the WikiLeaks were was the leaking from I want to say what Hillary's emails. I want to say, right? But a whistleblower came to Wikipedia WikiLeaks and they leaked those emails. I would much rather trust that than I would these fucking assholes who are more than willing to send all of us to die just so that they could have more profit.
But I will say there is one highlight, one cool thing for the service members that, yes, the Department of Defense has announced that they have put out the new campaign ribbons for the new Epstein War. There they are. So.
Oh, shit. Yo, that's the National Defense ribbon. I mean, minus the Star of David, of course. But I'm pretty sure that's the National Defense ribbon. And that is okay. I think that one is okay. I'm pretty sure that one's new.
Congrats.
But yes. They should absolutely make that a thing. That would be hilarious, dude. That would be hilarious, man. Oh man. For those of you who don't know what these ribbons are, this is minus the Star of David. I'm pretty sure this one's the new one. But this is the National Defense ribbon. Okay. But obviously, there's not an American flag there. There's an Israeli flag. So, gotta go and fight for your country, guys. Gotta go and fight for your country.
Congrats to our service members on your new.
Don't ask don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you could do for the country.
New campaign service medals. So let's look at some of the things
that was a quote from Kennedy, by the way.
Happening because it's escalating extremely quickly. As I said, multiple countries have already announced that they are also entering the war. One of them being Saudi Arabia, that had one of their air bases.
Oh shit!
And here we go.
can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia.
And here we go, starting to look a lot like a coalition being built. Remember the last time we did that in 2003? UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the United Kingdom military has joined in on defeating Iran.
Oh, shit. Oh, dude. Oh, shit. Guys, when this happens, one of two things usually go. Yeah, one of two things happens. Either that side, who is just one country as of right now, does get defeated, and there is a regime change, which is more than likely what they're looking at doing. Or two, countries decide to join in on the side of Iran. So I mean, not to scare you guys, but when something like this does happen, it's not too far from a conflict between two or three different countries to a very, very, very wider conflict, or very, very, very much larger conflict. Okay. So very real possibility of this escalating to World War III.
Yay! Sure is reminiscent of invading Iraq in 2003, huh? And yeah, that went swimmingly for everybody, didn't it? Well, it did for one country, but not for anybody else. And in massive retaliatory strikes because of the Ayatollah being killed yesterday, Israel is also getting curb stomped. So it's actually sounding like Iran destroyed Mossad's headquarters, and Tel Aviv is also getting punished. Yikes. And so here's the real big problem with both the Ayatollah being killed and now UF service members being killed and multiple countries entering the conflict is that now the escalation is just going to do this. There's really no way to draw this thing back down, in my opinion. Hopefully there is, but again, once you kill the supreme leader of the country and U.S. service members start being killed on the other side, we're going to full-scale war. So they can say this is going to be some air bombing campaign, and maybe it is. If that's all it is, it'll have done literally nothing. And one of the big problems, too, is that Iran is already targeting the Strait of Hormuz.
This is major breaking news. Iran has just struck an oil tanker as it was entering the Strait of Hormuz, injuring 4 sailors. Here's why this is so dangerous. The strait is responsible for carrying 20% of global oil. Experts predict that if it's shut down, oil prices could rise by up to 50%.
Yep, we talked about that yesterday on the show. And again, very likely for that to happen now with the massive escalation. I've already seen this in my local gas station. I took a picture of this driving home this morning, and the reason why I did is because before the war kicked off, gas was $2.98 a gallon here in my town, and it bumped $1 a gallon overnight. That's just in the fears of what's going to happen. So yes, that's going to be amazing for the American economy, right? If fuel prices increase by up to 50%, what does that also do? Well, it increases the price of everything else because gasoline is one of the largest drivers of cost increase on regular consumer goods because you have to transport them places. So
yep, semi trucks, planes, all kinds of shit. So that's going to drive the groceries up. I mean, guys, look, if you thought your groceries were already expensive, it may not even go up 50%. It might go up more than that just to cover the cost of having to transport shit, right? There are so many factors, and since the war machine always, or since the only way the war machine survives is if it's going through war, then there absolutely going to take those profits for themselves. It's not going to go back into our economy. No. No, it's going to go straight to them. They're going to get even richer. We're going to get even poorer while service members are dying. Congrats. And then you see stuff like, hang on. Oh, I keep forgetting. Let's see. Where is yeah, I'm not. Oh. Oh, this is what I was trying to find earlier. Charlie had actually posted this quite some time ago. 489,000 people voted no. Yet here we are. Probably another reason why they decided that Charlie was no good for us, and they took him out. But I was trying to find something, and I can't exactly remember where it was. But I forgot. I got sidetracked.
So, yay! This is what you voted for. Because what you voted for was a shitty economy, high gas prices, and another forever regime change in the Middle East. Fell for it again award. So, we're in it now. We've got U.S. troops dead, and so at this point, I don't see anybody backing out. And of course, obviously, this is exactly what our greatest ally wants. And so they are not going to allow this to stop either. Until, I don't know. No, there will be no regime change, by the way. There may be absolute...
And they will even sacrifice their own people. I mean, October 7th, man. October 7th was it 2023, right? October 7th, 2023. I'm pretty sure, or yeah. That was a false flag. So they are more than happy to sacrifice their own people, just the same as our leaders here, to get what they want.
Civil war and chaos, but the idea that we're going to stick this guy in power and he's somehow going to solve the crisis in Iran, yeah, that ain't going to happen. So I'm going to cut it off here. There's actually so much more to talk about, but that's because we're going to go live again.
Let's see. Is he live at all? Wait, when was that video? That was yesterday. Okay. So he must have... Huh. It's either he hasn't went live just yet, or he's already went live and it's just not listed here, which is weird. But yeah, guys, we're absolutely going to be in a actual war, right? This isn't going to be a war with grunt style insurgents. No, this is going to be an actual war with another actual country. And when stuff like this happens, it's always very soon that multiple countries on both sides gets involved. Okay, and the UK and Saudi Arabia are already involved at this point. So there's no telling who else is. I'm seeing that China and Russia aren't going to get involved. I don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. I hope not. I hope that this ends very quickly, so that more people do not die. That we can preserve life. But seeing those who looking at the behavior of those who are leading, right, these countries, I don't know. I see it being another 20-year war and sacrificing hundreds of thousands more of more lives, because we couldn't help ourselves but to fight someone else's war. Awesome. But, well, that is going to be it for today, guys. Be prepared, okay? Because if things escalate, which I see that they will be, then it's a very real possibility that they might call the draft. They might recall the draft and bring the draft back. If that's the case, then that's going to get really, really, really bad, really bad. So speak up, make your voices heard. No one wanted this. Nobody wanted this except them. Those who are making the decisions to send you. And start running for office. We got to replace these people. They don't care. We need someone that does care. All right, that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. Appreciate all of you for taking some time out to hang out with me. And, seeing what all is going on with the world. So, that being the case, I wish you all a lovely night. I will talk to you all soon. Love you all.